Sure Jazz recap here on DJ and PK 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott with you. The Jazz win last night in overtime over the Mavericks, 140-133. What a game from Keontae George. Again, 37 points, 6 assists for Keontae. Lauri Markkanen had added 33 and 16 rebounds as the Jazz get the win. Big game for Cooper Flagg, the first 18-year-old to score 40 points in NBA history. He had 42 in the loss for Dallas. Let's get to the post-game sound and Jazz head coach Will Hardy.
Well, this is a night where I felt like the team stayed with it. Obviously, the run late in the fourth quarter was huge, and then overtime we played really solid. We were undersized for a majority of the night, and so protecting the paint takes an effort from everybody. I thought as the game went on, it improved. They had 38 points in the paint at halftime, ended with 26 in the second half and overtime. So a big improvement there, but a bunch of guys deserve some love. Keontae following up last game with this performance, I think, is a big moment for him. He's somebody that we're relying on a lot, and it takes a ton of preparation. It takes a ton of focus to be somebody that's counted on every night in the NBA, and Keontae is really, really growing into that space. I thought Flip had a tremendous game, a lot of big plays. But, 3 guys off the bench. I thought Isaiah continuing to put pressure on the paint for us, 8 assists, 0 turnovers. And then, Taylor and Cody, who have not been with us lately, both played outstanding. And I think that, Cody made some defensive plays late in the game that were huge for us, showed some force playing towards the basket. The dunk in the first half, I thought his go and catch in the corner in the second half to his inside hand layup was a huge play. And then Lauri, his stat line looks sort of familiar, but the way that he rebounded the ball, especially late in the game, is something that we need him to channel. His aggressiveness and physicality to rebound down the stretch of the game is why we won. But it's a great win for our group. I'm really proud of the guys, and now we're on to the Lakers.
How do you make the decision when you're deciding on healthy stretches for guys like Tyron and Speed?
Yeah, we need to take care of their bodies. We also need to see some of these young guys play. And I felt like it was an opportunity to see Bryce play with Lauri and Keontae, something he hasn't gotten to do a ton of this year. And then Cody and Taylor, I think, have been working really hard, and it's good to have moments where they are with us and they play real minutes and they get to, it's like a progress report, where am I at? How is this going? And it's also good to have them back around the group, around the team. So it's not a perfect science, but tonight felt like a good night for all those things to happen.
Given that you did see some positive impact from some of the young players, how do you make that decision moving forward of, hey, now you guys did get the rest that you needed, now you're more healthy, versus, but the young players also did well in kind of their status quo?
Yeah, I think that's where it's a team, and no night is about any individual. And, a guy like Svi has been in the spot that he's been in because of his consistency. And so you have him take a night to play somebody else and they do well. It doesn't mean that he lost his job. I think what we're really building towards is you need to have a team that's deep in this league because of injuries, because of fatigue, because of matchups, and certain lineups sometimes against different teams work better. And so that's what we're trying to build, and we want everybody to get used to that feeling of being on a team, and it's not about me. Especially once you get out of the top 2 or 3 players on any roster, it's like, we're all here to try to win. We're all here to play our roles, and certain nights it's the three of us that are going to be playing more, and the next night maybe it's the three of us, and then one night I'm not in and you three are in, and that's just kind of how it goes. 82 games is a long road, and so you're going to need everybody.
When you are looking at team building and you're kind of looking at what Keontae's done, when do you start to trust that that's baked in so you can move on to the next step of like developing around him or the pieces around him, or how he's getting used if he can be a guy who gives you, 25 and 6 every night?
Yeah, I don't know if you ever fully just say, oh, it's baked in. I mean, I think you have to make decisions on other things, but I coach Lowry hard every night, and I'm going to continue to coach Keontae hard. I think Keontae has changed all of our expectations for him, and I think that's a good thing. I think that does make us feel differently about him in terms of our roster and what that could mean moving forward. And so, I think I agree with what you're saying, but I also wouldn't want to necessarily say out loud that I just assume that's going to be there every night, and so I'm focused on these other things. It's my job to always try to help our players where I can, and then appropriately get out of the way when I should.
Cooper had 42, and I thought, he did a good job of kind of attacking the switch, the mismatch at sometimes early in the game, and then late in the fourth and overtime, you guys defended that pretty well. What changed, and especially with regards to Keontae and kind of that one-on-one matchup to get some more efficacy there?
Yeah, I think the team adjusted that Cooper really wanted to go left. I felt like early in the game we pressed up on him a little bit too close, and he is more athletic than you think, and he has a great first step, and he gets low and he pushes his dribble out in front, and so we lost the battle right at the point of attack too many times early in the game. But I think especially as the game wore on, I felt like we did a better job of recognizing that he wants to go left, and we did a better job with our angles. He only takes 4 threes in the game, and so I felt like there were some moments where we were a little bit too close to him, especially early.
You talked about Lowry's rebounding. Obviously, with no traditional centers in tonight, there's kind of, more pressure on him to dig some out. But is there a way to get him to do that when it's a more traditional lineup, when there's a center in with him? Do you want him to be doing that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't steal any from Nurk just for his own health, but I think in a lot of other moments, we of course need defensive rebounding, especially in moments where fives become primary helpers and then the weak side is all smaller perimeter players. I think he can for sure keep hunting that area. I'm not, in no way am I trying to say that Lowry's been a bad rebounder. He's not. But I felt like tonight, especially down the stretch, he made a bunch of plays in traffic that were big for us.
That's Jazz head coach Will Hardy. Let's now move on to the players and hear from Isaiah Collier.
You had some big defensive plays there too, but also just playing in this environment like it was in an intense game like that. What was that like?
Just what things you dream up as a kid, honestly, just playing in the NBA, honestly. So, it's that inner kid in me, honestly. Just being out there on the NBA court, it's a blessing.
Key and Lowry did what they usually do, but Kyle Filipowski tonight, 25 points, looks like 9 rebounds, almost double-double. What did you see from Flip?
Flip a beast, man. It's my dog, man. So, Flip got out there tonight, started the game. And, like I said, he got out there, and he was really good for us tonight.
You're able to find him a lot, I think, in the paint when he was kind of just floating around in there. Have you built that connection with him?
Like I said, Flip my dog, play around every day, all day. So, it's pretty, it feels normal when we out there. So, I feel like we just read each other, honestly.
And to have, again, back to defense, having that defensive effort that you guys all did, what did that say about your guys' defense and what it could be?
We're capable of it. I think we told on ourselves tonight, honestly. So, for us, we just got to guard the basketball. I think that's what we'll start with every single game, honestly. So, like I said, we're capable of it. And we're just going to get after it.
Thanks, Zay.
That's Isaiah Collier. Isaiah, 10 points, 8 assists in 31 minutes as the Jazz get to win in overtime. Let's now hear from Lowry Markkinen.
Sometimes shots are not falling, whatever the case may be, but you try to affect the game with going to glass. And obviously, Nurk does a great job of rebounding and Walker when we had him. So you just got to try to. You can't replace what they do, but you try to pick up a little bit pieces that they leave out there. So.
And then when you guys played nearly every young player today, does that change the mentality of the team at all? Like, is there kind of an excitement to play with guys who maybe were in the G League last week who are getting a chance here? Yeah,
it's exciting, and I'm happy for them. They did their thing in the G League, and we're obviously happy to have them back here. And they're working through everything and get some reps at it, either here or G League, and you can tell that those reps help because those guys were ready to play today, and they really made a difference.
Since you've been in Utah, you haven't had another 20-point per game scorer on the team. How does it change knowing that this is what Keontae does basically every night now?
It's wrong. JC scored 20. First.
22 points per game.
Okay, way to move the goalpost. Yeah, it takes pressure off of you, and Keontae's obviously a great player, and he keeps working, and he keeps getting better every day, and so this is not surprising, obviously, but I mean, it's great to have that kind of weapon out there all the time. They can make plays, catch and shoot off the dribble, create for other people, so I'm happy for him, and sky's the limit, obviously, so we'll see how much he can still improve, but he's a young kid, and but I'm proud of him how he's matured and taken steps on the court as well, and so he's really had a big leap.
Will mentioned kind of some of the different lineups. There are a lot of different lineups tonight, but one of them was Bryce starting with like you and Keontae. He doesn't get a lot of opportunity to play with both of you guys. Do you like when there's kind of a change and you get to see a different look, or does it make things hard when it's kind of one of the first times that you've seen it?
It's exciting, and also it is a little adjustment with you play with mostly the four guys in the lineup every game, and you kind of get used to what kind of actions we run to each other and where a player might be at their best, and then you take somebody off of it and add a new player. Obviously, those guys are great, Kyle and Bryce, and they were ready to step up, but it's a little different, but like, I'm happy how they're able to figure it out to kind of like, right, just to throw him out there in the lineup, and we'll figure it out. So it's never going to be complete. It's a work in progress, but happy to get some different lineups out there to see kind of what works and how we can get better.
What growth have you seen in Kyle Filipowski's game this year?
Yeah, I think he's taking his time. Like, he sees the reads. He was obviously a smart player before, and he was able to make those passes before, but I think he kind of, it slowed down for him. He kind of knows where the guys are, even if he's not looking, and knows the spacing. And again, it's just like Keontae. He keeps working at his game, so it's not surprising. But just for today's example, he played a great defense, in my opinion, and so again, he can get a lot better as well. But he's gotten a little bit more man in him now. He's stronger with the ball and makes big-time plays at the rim, and so that's what we need from him.
What did you like about the defensive execution down the stretch, especially on Cooper?
Sorry, you said what?
The defensive execution down the stretch.
Yeah, he had a great game. We tried to slow him down, and he got going, and he was able to get to the free throw line a lot tonight, and so it was just tough we weren't able to stop him, but try to make it tough, and we were able to get the needed misses down the stretch that we needed. So he had a great game.
There's Lowry, double-double for him last night, 33 points, 16 rebounds. He had 5 assists and 4 steals. The Jazz win in overtime over the Mavs, 140-133. Up next, Jazz take on the Lakers on Thursday night at Delta Center. Tip-off will be at 7 o'clock. Pre-game coverage begins at 6. Coming up next, more DJ and PK, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.